Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today is Monday and we are headed to an inspection. When we have a seamed gutter installation on both sides of the house, and it's in pretty poor shape, so we're leaking. We have some wood rot right there where that spike is backed out. Best thing to do here would be to remove the gutters, fix any fascia rot, and then replace with seamless aluminum. We have a downspout pouring out right on the concrete. This siding is smart siding, and it's supposed to have an inch clearance between concrete surfaces and the material, and it's pretty much in contact with the material. We also have some grade landscape in contact with the siding all the way across there. With a loose downspout, and this window well got some moisture damage to that. That's like MDF, maybe not MDF, I don't know what that is. It's not in great condition. Our heat pump was newer, it's 2019, but the refrigerant line is in contact with the grade. The insulation is damaged. There's some more moisture damage on some of this trim. Look at that. We have our gutter downspout pouring out right behind this little retaining wall. Grade in contact with the siding. And then we don't have any flashing above the penetrations in the siding. We got some paint work that's needed. We have some wood rot. And just like the front, we have some leaks at our gutters. Got a crack in our patio. And that downspout is pouring out right in this corner. And look at this retaining wall. It's kind of buckled in. We have some damage to the concrete. There's some standing water on our carport, blocking a handrail. So getting ready to get up on the roof, and here in the ladder, I usually keep a little bungee strap here. Just run it around so it doesn't come off, so the ladder doesn't slide away. Let's check this roof here. So we're gonna look at this, we're gonna pull up the shingles, and here is our drip edge flashing, and our underlayment is underneath it, no surprise. And our gutters are full of, over here they're all full of debris. Let's get up and check this roof out. I might guess this roof is probably about 10 years old. It is wet, so it's a little hard to look at, but there is some granule, some granulosa, and we have some stuff like this. If you get back and look, you can see some little dark areas where we have some delamination. Over here, we do need some repairs. We have some loose shingles. So you can see how these shingles right here have kind of slipped out of the way. And look, the hole where the nail is, this have slid down and they're not secured very well. Then over here we have another spot, and this is worse. You can see it's like actually pulled out of the nail. These are all loose. This whole section of shingles. So on the boot around the mast is ripped and damaged, so we need to get that fixed. And then we have a dangerous situation right here. The insulation around these crimps is all worn away and damaged, so that's a shock hazard. So the chimney is probably just a little too short. It's supposed to be 2 feet taller than this ridge line when it's within 10 feet, and it's probably about 18 inches or so. I'll have to go down and get my tape measure and kind of look, but it looks like it's a little too short. What do you think? And then our wash on top has had some crack repairs, but it's damaged and it's not really doing much. And our roof has a ridge vent, so when we get in the attic, we want to make sure that this ridge line has been cut for this vent. And then we don't have any soffit vents. All we have are gable vents on the end. And so really for this ridge vent to work the best, we really need some soffit vents cut in at the edge or on the underside of the roof on both sides. All right, getting ready to enter the house. It's just me today, no realtor showing up. And here is the home. Take my shoes off, put on my Crocs. All right, so here's the house. I guess the first thing we'll do in here is we'll get all the lights on, make sure all the lighting's working, kind of see what we're working with here in the house. Here's our kitchen. Stairway down to the basement. We have some bedrooms. There we go. There it is. Closet. Come back in here. Turn this on. Turn that on. Turn that on. Looks like one of them's not turning on there. Outside light. Make sure that turned on. Oh yeah. All right, so we figured out the lighting. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thermostat, get the air conditioner cooling, get that adjusted down. I'm gonna come in here to the bathroom. I'm gonna start on this side of the house. Start getting this bathtub full of water. Get these sinks going. Make sure it's hot. Oh yeah, we got hot. Hot. Got hot. So we have a couple issues in this bathroom. We'll take a look at those real quick. So one, whenever we turn on the water, we have water dripping from the shower head. Which usually means there's a little too much back pressure in the faucet. So that could be a simple fix. Second, the stopper doesn't work, so they have a flexible stopper. And then we have a leak under this left sink, and guess what? They are using our favorite flexible pipes, and it's leaking at that right there in the corrugated pipe. Our window does not want to stay open, so once we open it, it just wants to fall back down. Now I'm gonna drain all this water again at the same time, just get that large volume of water through the plumbing. Here in the kitchen we have a few things. So one, the dishwasher is real loose in there, and then, so I have it going and I'm washing some dishes, but when you open the door just falls down, like the spring mechanism is damaged or needs fixed. Some other minor things, we have a lot of like loose cabinet hinges down here. It's loose. When I go through the inspection, I will make sure I have hot water, get the temperatures, snap a photo. Same thing with like the stove top. You know, I had that on, had the oven on. I warmed up a cup of water in the microwave. Make sure that that was hot. And then I usually leave the fan on during the entire kitchen inspection, so that whenever I'm done with the kitchen, if the fan is still on, it's my mental reminder to come back and make sure that the oven and stovetop are off, so we don't have a potential fire hazard later. So I filled both sides of the sink up, getting ready to check, see if there are any leaks, drain this water, see what happens. Doesn't look like we're gonna have a leak. We didn't have any GFCI protection at this countertop receptacle. Get a little blemish in the refrigerator or freezer door. Here in the interior inspection, this right window, the springs are damaged. You open it, it just drops back down. Behind the fireplace, we've had some damage. It's kind of hidden by the TV. You can see it there. So we'll come back later with a thermal imaging camera and see if there is any moisture in that after all of the rain we've had. And the fireplace is just a masonry fireplace, a metal firebox, and the condition of that looked pretty good. It's dirty, needs to be cleaned out. We definitely always recommend have a chimney sweep, evaluate the flue before use. Something that's kind of funny is this had wood paneling in here, and to make it smooth, they like mudded all the seams. You can kind of see all those lines. It's like where they mudded it to smooth out the walls. And then you won't be able to see in the camera, but this floor is real wavy. So like right here is like a high point, and then it goes downhill. And then there's another like high point right here. And same thing in the kitchen, it's kind of low right here, and there's a high point kind of under this header area. And so we'll see what that is when we get downstairs, if we can. Normally in this area, they build everything with a wood girder, with wood post, and the wood girder is always overspanned. And so we always get these wavy floors. Even on new construction, they're pretty notorious about that around here. So it's nothing unusual other than you just notice it when you walk the house. And this was built in like 1970. All right, it's time to go downstairs. So we got a light that's out. I got this really nice guard railing. It feels like we have some inconsistent tread height in our steps. Yeah, we got some short steps. This is the living area. Some more living area. And come down here to the hallway. The closet. We have a bathroom. Got a baseboard heater in here. Some bedrooms. Another bedroom. Fire suppression system. Is another bedroom? Was this laundry? Turn that on. Laundry room. And then this goes, we'll figure that out later, but the utility room is on the other side of this wall, and there's an access around the exterior. So back here in this closet, got something interesting. We got some dead, it's like swarmer termites. Make it kind of hard to see, but they have wings that are equal in length and with a dark vein on top. And then if you look, there's flooring here. There's a bunch of damage back there. There's been some water getting under this floor because there's either some wood rot or some termite damage. So I gotta look around a little further to see what's going on here. Now we're gonna scan the ceilings with a thermal imaging camera. We have some moisture damage in this flooring. It'd be wet right now. You got those blue lines in between all the planks, but then it just kind of stops. Should we check all our ceilings? Might be a wet spot right there. Let me get my moisture meter out, check that. We had the baseboards on earlier. This flooring was in bad shape. There's a bunch of moisture damage back there. Oh, that's all wet. Come back here and look at this. So the floor is all damaged and buckled from where this bunk bed has been sitting on it. Yeah, same thing over here too. Let's check this room out. The baseboard heater in this room didn't work. So turned on that thermostat, came back a few minutes later, and I didn't have any heat of that baseboard heater. Let's get our moisture meter out in the drywall setting. Probe it. It's like 2.63. You know, anything over 1 is considered wet. Same thing back here on this wall. 5.6 says high. Let's go to wood. This baseboard. High, 53%. Same thing with the floor too. When we probe the floor, it's not really wood, but 44, 43%, 46. Ugh. Also in this bathroom, it looked kind of silly. Like this looked like it kind of was wet, and sure enough, it's got high moisture content. Back here in the laundry room, 30, 32, 35, 38. Oh yeah, so that's all wet. So I need to get this cover off, see what's going on behind there. And we don't want to forget, we got this spot right up here, 1.2. So yeah, it's wet. And we come over here, 0.1. So we got the sump cover off, and it's like it's just a bucket in the concrete. And the concrete kind of looks modified, like maybe this was added after the house was built. So it's just pulling groundwater from this one spot. There's no drain tile going to this. And then you can see this floor has been all wet around where this box was. We got water dripping off this box. I just tripped the motor, and it's not spraying water everywhere. Sometimes that could be a source of a water leak, like a leaky hose, but didn't experience that. On the back side of this wall, this is the foundation, the front foundation wall, all across here. And so it's probably a grading issue or a drain tile issue. Or maybe this stack that's behind here is leaking. I'm assuming that's a stack, plumbing stack. I might be able to get in there, we'll have to see. So behind here is actually the water heater, and I can't really get it out. This box, I tried lifting it up. I've spent a lot of time trying to get it out, but it's back here. And it's hard to see, but that relief valve has a little like 1/2 inch copper pipe plumbed off of it. And that's going down there. But you know, maybe that's dripping a little bit, causing some of this water. I don't see anything leaking. And then where that element cover, man, it's hard to, I can't get in here very well. Where that element cover's been removed, That element is pretty rusty, like there had been a leak at some point in the past. I can't find the data label without destroying this entire little box. I imagine it's probably at least 10 years old. Need to make it a little more accessible than this. This is ridiculous. Back here in the utility room, we can see our floor construction, and we have 2x8 joist and a doubled up 2x8 header with a piece of ply in between. And so down here in the utility room, we have one post, it's sitting on the foundation. We have one post here, and then it spans, and it's sitting on that double post there. When we go back into the other room, we have this long span before we get to that post, and it's probably sitting on some 2x4s in this wall. So that's why we have that uneven floor on the upper level. This front foundation looks pretty good. Not really any crack. I think there's like a little hairline crack. Can I see right there? It's pretty vertical in nature. Looking in here, looks like there may have been some water intrusion in here at some point in the past. You can see these wood panel walls. This is what's separating the living space to the utility room, have been replaced. Like maybe there has been some moisture damage at some point in the past. And then over here, here's a termite shelter tube. This is by the fireplace in the main level living room. But I did not see any indications of treatment anywhere. And all those swarmers in that closet, you know, that's a more recent thing compared to that. So we're definitely going to recommend treatment for termites. I have a little bit of moisture staining on some of the subfloor. Here in our utility room, our furnace was newer. It's 2019 is the manufacture date. That's that 1-9 between the W and the H, 2019. And we have a humidifier that's no longer in use. It's been disconnected. And this is the utility room. Over here is our main water shutoff. There's our riser for the fire suppression system. Here we have the electrical panel cover off. We have a few issues. We have a 30 amp single pole breaker. There's nothing, there's no switch, light, or outlet that's rated for 30 amps. And we have 3 wires terminated under that breaker. So we got a triple tap on a 30 amp breaker. And then on this 20 amp here, we have a double tap. And then on our neutral bus bar, we have some double taps. We got like 3 wires under that screw. And then we have our equipment ground screw, which is that silver one back there behind that white wire. So we have an equipment ground. And then we have this 40 amp breaker is not installed correctly. It's not clipped on to the back of the panel, so it kind of sits cattywampus, so it needs to be reset. And then this breaker right here, this double pole 60, is lacking a trip tie. So this is what they call a split bus panel. Like this breaker operates like this section, that breaker operates like that section of the panel. So those 6 breakers right there are your main disconnect for this whole board. So you gotta turn off all 6 of those to turn off this entire board. We also have a large opening right there, a place where a mouse could get in there, be a fire hazard or a snake. And then we're lacking a couple screws holding the dead front cover on, and one of them is a metal piercing screw, which I'll put it in a place where it's not going to pierce a wire, but that needs to be corrected. See how that one breaker sits because it's not clipped. Oh, sorry, because it's not clipped in there all the way. And we're not labeled either. Looks like this place had been foreclosed on at one point. So we're just about finished up in here. We just need to turn off all these lights, make sure the doors are locked, and go back upstairs. I need to scan the ceilings in the upper level with the thermal imaging camera. Looks like we have some lack of insulation around that wall where the wall meets the ceiling. We had a ceiling stain right here, as you can kind of see. I want to make sure I don't have anything in that stain. There's nothing there, so that's old. Back in this bedroom, we had a stain right there, and that is wet. And we got high moisture content. Come back this way. Our kitchen, make sure our dishwasher didn't leak. Make sure it didn't leak under here. At the drain. Yep, looks good. So back here behind that TV above the fireplace, all this damage. Moisture meter. And it comes back high, so we have the leak there. And we are now ready to get into the attic after I turn off all these lights. All right, so now we're up in the attic. Rafters look pretty good, and it looks like they cut back for the ridge vent on both sides of that ridge, but there's no filter or screen, so you are susceptible to getting like some dust. Like, look at that. Bunch of bugs coming through there, and dust and tree debris because of that lack of filter. Now look at this, we got a bat in this gable window. He's alive. Or gable vent, not window, sorry. Back there, that staining is, that is right above that leak in the ceiling of that bedroom on the main level. So that's over there. Come back this way. We can see the ceiling, that's over the bathroom area where we had a hot spot because of a lack of insulation. Junction box, no cover. And then look at the backside of that chimney. That is all wet, and that is corresponding with that spot down behind the TV above the fireplace. We have another splice. It's not in a junction box. So thinking back to that basement, so right here is where that TV and electric baseboard heater, and then right here is where it goes to the utility room. At the sump pump down this area, laundry, water heater, that back bedroom. Step back here and look at this grade. You got the street, all this water comes right down, right up to the siding, and it's in contact with the siding right there. So that water literally has nowhere to go. All right, so we finished up that inspection, and we're now headed we're on the highway headed to the next place. Takeaways from that inspection. So one, we had some roof issues. We had some roof leaks around the chimney and in that bedroom. That plumbing leak in that hall bathroom sink. We had some other little minor plumbing issues. You know, we had some doors that didn't shut right. We had some windows that didn't want to stay open. We had all that water leaking into the basement area on that front wall. Some further investigation needed to figure out what is happening. So either there are some cracks that we can't see and water is coming in through those cracks in the foundation, or it's seeping up where the concrete floor meets the foundation wall. And so in that case, it'd be a drain tile issue, kind of like what we talked about around the outside, where we have all that grading, all those grading issues, and water has nowhere to go. And we had some electrical issues in the panel. The water heater was probably older, but it needs a plumber to come out and take a look at that. We had that one electric baseboard heater that wasn't working. So there's definitely some things that need to be taken care of. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed a snapshot of what an inspection looks like and kind of how I go through my process. Keep in mind that I didn't point out everything on this short video. I could be there all day and make like a 2-hour long video essentially, but I didn't want to do that. It's just kind of highlighting the main things. There might be some things that you find in the video that I didn't point out. Well, it's probably in the inspection report, so keep that in mind, just to try to keep this video somewhat short. So anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. And remember, from the basement to the shingles, call Inspector Jingles.